We are recording.
I call the Buildings, Properties, Cemetery Committee meeting to order. It is now 5:04 on January 16th. And according to our agenda, the first thing we have up here is the annual checklist for town-owned buildings.
This is something that was brought to me. I think somebody on the committee suggested it. And that's fine. We can come up with something. It's just something else to keep up with, you know, and I just got something else I got to do. And,
So something doesn't fall through the cracks.
it's not a bad idea to have a plan at the beginning of the year. All right, I know I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Just doing it is, and making sure that it gets delivered on is
Do you have darts?
some challenge.
We can throw you a dart when it's time to do the next one.
I think that's how we're doing it now. I'd be happy to put something together and try to figure out, you know, what are the standard things, maintenance, and how often do you want to paint. Hopefully, we won't have to paint the tavern for a while. I think we're
That
good on.
looks really
That'll look good.
nice.
He did a
Yeah.
nice job with it. We primed it this time, and so hopefully that'll last. But I can tell you, within the next couple of years, I'm going to be looking at a new roof. Those cedar shakes on that thing ain't looking so hot. And,
Starting to shake off now.
yeah, so we probably need to start working on that. We did cut some trees down around the tavern, so that's preserved those cedar shakes a little better, because they had almost gotten like a moss growing on or a mold on them. So it dried it out quite a bit. But I'd be happy to work on something. Something I gotta do, man. I've got
Okay, okay.
plenty going on.
All right, well, very good. I appreciate you
Not
taking a look at
opposed by any
that.
means, yeah.
So we have here, I know that we're going to talk about the Carriage Museum, that's coming up, okay. Thank you, Philip, I appreciate that. And the next thing is painting of the light poles.
Our painter, who is going to finish the curbing today,
Who is this?
is a guy named Bronson Construction, and he's the guy that painted the tavern.
Okay.
Same guy.
Okay.
And remember, I had a contract with Greg Warner. Greg, just
Couldn't
Greg's
get-
working two
Greg's
jobs
busy,
and stuff.
yeah.
He does a good job, but he's just running in a lot of different directions. So I asked this fella, at a minimum, if he would just finish that yellow curtain. Remember they power washed it last year, and man, it'd been over a year since it'd been there. It was just 3 or 4 blocks downtown.
Zach's happy.
It looks great.
It looks better. So I asked him if he had any time, because this time of the year, he's got a lot of gaps in there because he can't work
Yeah.
outside everywhere. So he can do this kind of stuff. He's like, man, I would love to have a little project like that. So I got him to finish the yellow painting. In the meantime, I asked him to do one other project. If you look at the front of Wind Furniture, just so you know, I've already told him to go ahead. Our street sweeper hit the awning in the front of Wind Furniture, I don't know if you remember. And we replaced the section, the paint's peeling off of it. So it looks kind of oddball. We're gonna get him to paint that one section. If Wind Furniture wants to paint any additional ones to match, they can pay him, but we're committing ourselves to the one that we replaced a few years ago. And literally,
Awning?
it's an awning.
It
A
must
metal
be,
awning.
must be metal, yeah.
It's metal awning.
Why is the paint chipping on that already?
Hmm?
Why is the paint chipping on that metal already?
Damn it, I don't know why, but we hit it with a street sweeper.
Okay.
Did we see it? No. Can I prove it? No, but I wasn't gonna argue with Ms. Carlisle if that's, I didn't have anything to tell me it didn't. Richard, the driver, said, I don't remember hitting anything, but we're not gonna argue with a merchant downtown over something like that. So we did replace it with a new board, or a new panel,
Okay.
but the paint had flaked off of it.
And I'm gonna ask a dumb question, but at some point, do we sign a release and say, all right, we're done now? Or do we continue to paint that awning for the rest of its life?
No, I think we should do it this one time, and I'll get Dale to sign something. They seem very
That's a good
reasonable.
idea.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
you
mean-
don't want it to be a continual,
Yeah.
because if that one person gets it done and then we do 4 or 5 others, and
Mhm.
they're gonna be a paint contractor by that time.
I don't want that. So, yeah, fine, I'll get a little,
Just a
I'm
note.
sure Chessie's got a
Nothing,
little
doesn't
something.
need to
we
be
can-
filed with the court, none of that stuff, it just,
And,
Just an agreement.
yeah.
one of the other things that have been requested, I think it came out of Beautification Committee, I couldn't swear, or DBI, I'm not sure where, but painting the antique light poles downtown, I think it was Beautification Committee that came up with this thing. I think kinda, gosh, do we really wanna get into this and then it flake and we gotta paint it again and get into the painting business? So I met with this guy. If you didn't know, finding a licensed painter,
Oh, it's impossible.
they're really tough to do, but this guy's got license, contracted, and all that sort of thing, insurance. So I asked him today, I said, give me a price on what you would charge per pole to paint it Williamsburg green, which is kind of Eric's shirt color. Okay, that's the color they told us. So we're gonna get him to paint one at the corner here in front of Town
Just see
Hall
how long it,
and see if it looks good, and if everybody likes the color and all that that sort of thing.
Okay.
I don't know if we can put off painting the other ones long enough to see if this goes through a whole season of weather, but
I hope it goes through more than one season.
I would think, yeah, otherwise we're painting them constantly.
Yeah.
That's why I've been kind of nervous about it. But nonetheless, he feels like the material that, or the paint that he can get is specific to metal, direct contact metal paint or something. But he's gonna give me a price
Okay.
and tell me what it is. But in the meantime, he is gonna paint the one out here on the corner. And if everybody thinks that's really shabby, then so be it. If everybody thinks it stinks, then we'll come back and paint it brown.
It's just hard to visualize. Well, I figured it would have been brown or black. It's
No
hard.
brown.
It's hard to visualize what a green will be.
We had thought about a little maybe darker than your sweater or black, or brown.
Isn't that what they say?
Yeah,
green?
no, I would think
Williamsburg
black
green?
would look the
Didn't you
best,
go to
but-
beautification committee or two?
I don't
It
remember.
came from PBI, and then I remember Jenny, and then the beautification committee, that was in their list of
Mhm.
recommendations.
I understood it to be some Williamsburg green, which is Eric's shirt approximately.
Maybe the sample pole, just
Hmm?
thinking it should be that crappy one in C Park that people
If
complain
you
about.
don't wanna paint the one out here,
Mhm.
we did the cleanup the other day on Church Street. There is a pole laying in the grass near the town shop. Was that the one that was hit and taken out?
It is the one that we got hit
You
over here.
could paint that one some and just see.
I like
Yeah.
Jennifer's idea. Paint the one in the park that's
The one
really
that's
bad.
in C
There's a
Park
bad one on
that's
Oak
in such
Street.
bad shape, maybe test that one and
Got
see.
rust all over
That's
it.
fine.
Cause I think I've heard more people say something about the one in C Park, so maybe we could test that one.
We'll paint one in Sea Park then, and it
Okay.
doesn't matter. We're just gonna give everybody a sample and you take a look at it.
Let's make sure Jenny Bunn's on board with that.
Oh dear.
Surely, I will make sure she knows.
Okay, thank you.
Good thinking, Chairman.
Yes, that's what I've been given this
Good
job
on
for.
Centurion. All right, so I'm waiting on prices and we will get a pole painted.
Okay.
Moving on.
Okay, and trial, okay, very good. Next one thing on the item, list is Hometown Heroes banners, and we probably need to get started with that if we want to get this going for, what are the dates we were talking about?
I think we said from Memorial Day to Veterans Day,
Yeah,
I think is what we
Memorial Day to
discussed
Veterans.
last.
Yeah.
And maybe, I don't know how the process is, do we put an ad in the paper, do we?
To advertise them? I think the thing to do is probably, because there are multiple people that can do this kind of stuff, but the biggest one that we've always dealt with, banners, is Mosca Design.
Well, I emailed several localities around and they all used Mosca, that's the only
They're
reason.
the biggest show. What I would do is start with, we gotta bid it out,
Mhm.
but I would sit down with Mosca and maybe they can bring a designer.
What is your bid?
Do
What
we
are
have to
your,
bid it out because they, because the person is
yeah, the
paying?
At a
person?
minimum, I'd put it in the paper a couple times, and if somebody else showed up, that'd be great, but, we can notify other people, but
What are our bidding requirements? If it's under 5,000, you don't
under
have
500,
500.
you don't have to do bidding, like if we buy a case of copy paper or
Yeah.
something.
Okay,
Over 500 and under
It's just written.
30,000, that we have to get 3 written quotes. And then over 30,000, if I'm not mistaken, needs to be sealed.
I'd much rather us save that advertising in the
Yeah.
paper to be for trying to get people to get a banner for downtown.
I think it's,
Let's just call the people. I mean, you're not gonna get,
I think it's 500 to 1,000, you have to just get 3 quotes.
And after 1,000,
It's
written
the
quotes.
written quotes.
Verbal quotes up to
And
1,000.
30,000, you have to advertise in the news.
Sealed bid and do all that.
okay.
So did you say not put
I
out?
just feel like, I mean, you're not gonna get anybody in the paper.
But here's the problem. Here's why the paper is helpful. Yeah, it costs you $300 to stick in the paper. But here's the deal. You have followed procurement. Otherwise, we gotta hunt people down. Will you do it? Will you
It's
do
the
it?
easier
Will you-
thing to do.
It's easier just to stick it in the paper 2 weeks and bleh, then it's done.
Okay,
And then nobody can really fault the way the town has done it. Finding 3 contractors is gonna be the problem, to get it
Oh,
done.
yeah.
That'll be the voters trying to find.
We won't have 3 that will see the Blackstone paper.
Yes, well, probably not. But, you know, Sharon and
yes, Sharon
Vince
may
out
want to
there.
put it, she may
Oh,
have
yeah,
some
yeah.
product.
Sharon may be interested and maybe even she subs it or something, but, and I will tell you that tries to get a little more local, but it's more because it's a pain in the tailbone to try to find 3 people that are close in this little town.
So you wanna start with that then?
I would get Moscow to come down here and help us with design and, you know, layout and all that kind of stuff. And they have people that come down and do that kind of stuff with us and start there and then say, all right, this is our prototype. if Moscow gets, what I try to do is if people help me on a bid like that, I'll tell them, if you get the bid, I don't pay you for your previous work. If you don't get the bid, I owe you for your consulting
Yeah.
services or fees or whatever.
That's fair.
Yeah, and keep people from getting fussy of, damn, I did all this work for you and didn't get the work.
Yeah,
And I pay them $150 or whatever it was the cost of it.
very good. Very good.
That's what I would do. I get Moscow Design to come down and get started there.
Okay.
Okay, very good. And so we've got until the end of May to get everything. We want to be able to get this in the newspaper and everything going by,
We need to go ahead and do it now, just
do it
be
now.
done with it and
Yeah.
move on.
Yeah, we want to have everything ready to go.
Get
Okay,
them down here.
I'll email him when we get out of the meeting.
okay, all right. Next is pick up your pride cleanup.
Well, I guess these two Rotarians can tell you about it. But you
Three.
say you already did it?
You got 3?
Oh, 3 Rotarians. I'm sorry.
No,
Did
we
y'all
don't
already do
like-
it?
We don't like to do it, we do different cleanups, but the real biz.
April.
Prize in April.
Oh, like Earth Day or something?
Yeah.
And then this was in the previous packet. I think this was something that in Richmond County that they do and.
Yeah, it was something about a
Yeah, but,
a prize and.
yeah, and if y'all wanna do it, I just included this month again while we were gonna be talking about it.
Okay,
Cause we wanted it advertised more, I think, too, for people to help out.
I would love for it to be a competition between the boards.
Mhm.
Have a councilman leading that, if they're interested in doing that. The churches, neighborhoods to clean up their individual neighborhoods, but it'd be great to collaborate with the town, DBI, chamber, any other organization that wants to participate, but we need to get started on this right away because that's gonna be April 25th, I think is the date that April 22nd is Earth Day, and it's the Saturday following Earth Day, which I think is the 25th. I don't have my phone to check the date.
So this right here, I mean, it's pretty cut and dry. It says you can do youth groups, clubs, schools, churches, athletic associations, neighborhoods, businesses, nonprofits. And you just take a before picture of where you cleaned up and then an after. And then, I mean, that's a lot of,
How do they award the prize? Is it the most
whoever
trash?
has the most trash. Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
I mean, I can tell you, there's going to be a lot of people that would go out for $500.
You could easily track it if it is like social media driven, we'll just have them check in at downtown Blackstone or check in at town of Blackstone, so you'll see the photos and then verbatim who.
As long as nobody goes down to the town dump and takes a picture.
Well, they've got to clean it up, though. We've got to see before and after pictures.
Ah, that's true.
So, yeah, go ahead.
All right.
No, I think, I mean, I'd say let's just Zach's really good at making flyers. Let's just do, I mean, it's pretty basic, just do the same thing they're doing.
Good. And we help. I mean, we got litter control money. that
Well,
we can-
we'll pay for it. I mean, we'll do the prizes.
The
I don't know
town,
if they'll-
the town will do the prizes?
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at
I don't know if the
$850.
state money can be used for prizes, but I know we can buy garbage bags. I know we can
Yeah.
buy stuff like that. And,
And, so would we do it amongst the wards?
Anybody that wants to get a group together, you don't have to
Yeah.
specify as to, now, a ward can get together, that'd be their group.
Yeah,
Yeah. But it can be, the Rotary Club can have a group, it can be anything.
the Boy Scouts have done
Boy
it.
Scouts, whoever.
Well, we've had church groups help in the
The
past.
fire department, the junior firemen, something like anything.
Yeah,
Pick up as much trash as you can and you pile all your bags in one spot. And
And how do you decide, would you decide the day of, okay, this group is going to Nottaway Avenue, this group is
No,
going
you-
to.
let them pick. Right?
let them pick.
Okay.
We just have one day, whatever that, well, this actually has,
well, if they can let somebody know, if we have a town map, we can kind of block off, so if anybody, I'm open for anything, we can send them to the one that's not being done.
yeah.
Mhm.
There's plenty of trash in Blackstone to be picked up, I can tell you that.
I noticed on West Avenue that it was a mess.
I picked up trash.
Northwest Avenue.
I picked up trash next to Food Line or Walmart yesterday
Oh my
on
God.
that hillside. You could go there for 30, I mean, you could be there for 2 days straight and you wouldn't. be
Plastic
hungry.
bag just blown everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. I called you that day. I said, my goodness, who's
Yeah,
supposed
I
to clean
picked it
that?
all up yesterday and holy
Oh,
cow.
man. All right.
Okay, so we'll propose this, send a proposal to the town council then on
What is
on the
that?
Do you
27th.
wanna, would you mind drawing up a flyer for it?
Well, after town council, I would have to get with you or somebody to really know what specific things need to be listed or how it needs to be.
We would do, I mean, we could do April 1st through April 26th. On here they have it April 1st.
And they can do it whatever day they want.
They can do it
Oh,
now.
there you
So
go.
it's not just one particular day, but
Okay.
No.
Oh, okay, okay.
Because that way, some groups may not be able to get together one particular weekend. So now you have the whole month. I think-
So that's gonna change the Rotary cleanup day, pick up our pride day. They're gonna be a pick up our pride, month,
Correct. When is Earth Day?
22nd.
22nd. Yeah, I would say there's enough trash to be picked up for a month in Blackstone. People can add to their volume too by couches and
Toilets.
toilets, whatever's in the, yeah.
Somebody at the Magnolia Place shut the whole furniture or whole living room right over the fence.
Well,
Chest
we
of
had
drawers.
a most interesting item found contest with the
We could do,
Rotarians,
yeah, we could do that.
and they seem to enjoy that. So we'll go with this and then propose it to council.
While we are discussing cleanup, many years ago, prior to my return as the town manager, the town got into an adopt-a-street program. You may remember, I don't know if that was while you were here, but there's adopt-a-street signs scattered all over town. None of them are accurate. I don't think Ann Quick and Morgan or Taylor are picking up trash anymore. I'd like to take all those signs down, if that's agreeable to everybody. I don't,
Agreed.
except for the one that the Rotary Club is pretty active on picking up, but that's in such a cockamamie location. It's right there and it's blocking the street sign. Have you ever seen it? It's in the Episcopal Church lot.
I never even paid attention.
I
would like
didn't
to
know
leave
that was
that
even
sign.
there.
I hadn't even paid no mind.
There's a picking up your pride sign or adopt a street sign for the Rotary Club in the Episcopal churchyard on
wow.
Church Street on that side. But it's about 3 feet in front of a street sign. It's just, I don't know why I got put right there. But if I can mount it on the existing sign, the other sign,
Yeah.
but I'd like to take these adopt a street.
I would love to see them down.
There's probably a half a dozen, at least in your neighborhood. And,
Are they not being, they're not active now?
Now, people don't even live around here anymore.
Pete
either.
Smith's daughters were on one, and Ann and Taylor still live here, but I dare say they're not picking up trash. And there's more, but that's the ones I can think of. And I'd like to take those out, and I don't know if you guys need council to vote on that or not.
you don't want a motion?
Let's do a motion on that.
Okay.
Yes. All in favor?
Are you making the motion, Ms. Hasbro?
I'm making the motions.
Second.
Okay, favor? Aye.
Uh,
Okay.
And if the people would like the signs, say Taylor Quick comes up to me and say, "Can I get that sign? Can I just give it to the people?"
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll keep the
I think
post
there's
and they
one
can-
that
Keep 'em, yeah,
says
yeah,
Mary Catherine Colburn and.
I think there's one for them, yeah, the
No.
Colburns. If they want the sign, I can give the sign up. Okay.
Yeah.
It's 35
It's not
cents.
gonna do anything for us, I mean.
So do y'all want me to include this flyer into the council packet in January? And then,
That or the revised one.
will you have a revised one?
Well, that's like I said, like right now, I don't know, there's a lot of details it seems like, so I'm gonna have to get with one of you two to kind of talk through and jot down what.
So we can put that one in now and then we
Yeah.
will revise it if the
And maybe if
council,
council
full
has some other
council's.
ideas, we'll make notes and then.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
So this one will be in the packet, okay?
okay, very good. Thank you. Alrighty. The next is the Carriage Museum parking lot and blacksmith shop.
All right, parking lot, I have the drawings completed. I believe council's actually voted to authorize me to bid it out. And now we're through the holidays, I'm gonna go ahead and do that, maybe next week and the week after.
Okay.
But I've got everything I need to bid it out. And blacksmith shop, I have met with Dan. And if you guys want to, I can carry you individually over to show you the design of the same building that we built over at the cemetery.
I saw it.
You saw it. It'll look very much like that, but it'll have some louvered windows that you can hang up. It'll have the side protected area or roofed areas off to the side, and people could stand under there. But it'll have louvered windows you can raise and watch somebody doing stuff in there. And
Is there a plan as to what will be in it? When will it ever be?
no, not that I'm
Demo.
aware of. I think we're checking a box that VDOT wanted us to check. And is there a plan? There may be. I think Robert Thomas has some.
I think he had some
Stuff.
specific plans for the shop and he wanted to be able to put his artifacts in that.
If it's not going to be an active blacksmith shop, we don't have to put a chimney on there. But if he's going to have a flute, now there's portable flutes. My nephew's got one he keeps in the garage of his dad's house, and he can do stuff there. But if there's gonna be a major flood, we do need to know what he's planning on doing, because we have to drill the brick enclosure and all that.
Well, I mean, it sounds almost as if
If
it's
just a
gonna be more or
museum
less
piece.
you may just, instead of doing lift up windows, do plexiglass windows of some sort, just to be able to see in
Mhm.
and see artifacts.
I
I don't
think-
think it's gonna, doesn't
but
sound like it's gonna be active, but
That is
before,
located in a high foot traffic area with a lot of beer cans
correct,
strewn
a whole
around.
lot,
So I would say it needs to be super secure,
yeah.
otherwise people be getting into it all the time.
Okay.
We've got, it's between the beer store and.
You go in those two barn buildings over there,
Oh,
oh my gosh,
Take a bag of cans out of there and
Yeah.
bootlegger
yeah.
wine bottles out of there. I
Before-
think it
before
needs to
we-
be a little stronger.
Before we build, let's get specifics as to what is the purpose of it?
Hmm?
Well, I mean, will it be actively used, or will it be a walk, you walk by it and you look what's in it?
I'll get Robert Thomas to give us some.
I don't want us to
Yeah,
build
let's
some-
get with him and see if,
I don't want us to build
Yeah.
something that has lift-up windows when it's gonna be closed all the time and you
Well, I
won't
was
be able
thinking
to.
maybe if somebody's working in there, that they could open the windows, but
Yeah.
there'll be double
But
doors.
if no
on
one's
the
been there
front.
working though,
There's no one working, they need to be shut and locked
correct,
from the inside.
yeah.
So people can't bash the padlock off there.
Could it be like the Rotary's hut or building in Sea Park where like it can lock from the inside, but it has that capability to hang open like we do, like when we pull it up inside the building? So you
Oh,
can't
maybe
pull
a-
it out, but you can pull it in.
pull it in.
Pull it in, that's fine, either one, but I would say have something so if it's raining and people, school kids are there watching a demonstration, they can stand under those little side, but it is an area.
Plus
of-
it helps you to not have to build such a big building. You're building more of an awning plus a
Fine.
And
small.
if
I'll get
sometime
Robert
we
to
want to
give
do
us
something
dimension
bigger,
and-
we can.
Get him to present a plan to the
Yeah.
council and, but we're ready to build it.
We need a
Okay.
We got a
plan.
plan.
We
Huh?
need a
We need a plan before anything.
Got it.
Cause I don't want someone to come back and say, that's not what I envisioned.
I.e. the announcer's booth at the baseball
At the
complex.
ball fields, yes.
Got it.
Okay.
Here's the fun part.
Well, now, before you get to that, the Carriage Museum, how are we're talking about washing, power washing
We
that?
power washed it once,
Mhm.
the town employees did with our power washer.
Mhm.
I'm getting prices also to paint the doors.
He came by today.
Did He's giving me, the same guy's gonna give me, that's doing the thing,
Mhm.
he's gonna give me prices on doing the trim work, the doors and the shutters at the museum. He says it needs to be power washed again. So,
And
if
then,
we include that in the price, and then we can get, I think the mayor wanted me to give everybody else an opportunity to bid on the power washing, so we can do that. But we did power wash it, it didn't get that rust stain off the side of the building.
so what are we gonna do about that?
I have to replace the
Replace
siding.
I was about to say, you're not getting that rust off of that building.
I don't think it's coming off, I think you're gonna have to put new siding on that side of the building.
So do we need to go through council, take that to council to get approval for that?
No, Jason Stokes can do that.
Huh?
Jason Stokes can do that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to replace all of it, you just need to
Okay,
do that.
okay,
I mean, that's
You have
a,
to replace enough so it doesn't look funny
correct,
with the.
but that's not something we need to bid out, I wouldn't think, and
okay.
we could do that in-house.
Do we have needed to get approval from council to go ahead and do that?
That's
Is that
typical
just-
maintenance, I'd
Is this
say.
typical maintenance?
That's
Okay,
what I would-
all right, very good.
But you're
Don't need
gonna-
to get in the weeds, I guess.
Okay,
Are
that's,
you gonna bid out the trim and the doors and the paint?
Yeah, I've gotta do all that,
Yeah,
like
that-
the antique
And so the
poles,
power
I gotta
wash-
bid that out too.
And
Correct.
Power washing.
And I'll put
be
power
included.
washing in whatever
Okay.
pricing that we get if we do it.
okay. Was there anything else over there, the rails, did that need to be painted over there?
Would the railings be included in the
We
trade?
can, I mean,
It's just one,
anything you want.
Okay, just
and
one
it
more.
wouldn't be just a
And,
Okay.
he's also giving me a price on doing the railings and, shutters at the library. If you haven't looked at those, they're pretty faded, and the doors at the library are faded.
Okay, very good.
But all that's gotta be priced in,
Not all the Carriage Museum subject. Michael Bagley and I were talking the other day. I can't remember if we ever brought it up to the committees of council. The lights, what do you call them, solar panel ones, that the four of them that are out front,
the solar light.
they don't work.
They
Can
don't.
anything be done with them, or,
You take them out and put new ones in.
I don't think they work for years.
Okay,
Well, when you deal with solar lights like that, I mean, your life expectancy is probably 6 to 8 months. It's
Yeah.
just
Let's
cheap,
put it-
I mean, they're nothing to them.
oh, I didn't know that.
It's,
They're just like landscaping lights.
but
No,
like,
they're
pla-
the- you know the big ones that are on the top of the white poles?
But they
that
did
are
it-
in the
when they
front
built
end,
it, it was-
the column right there.
it was the basic, I mean,
Mhm.
nothing to it. It really, to be honest, if you wanna do it right, which now's the time to do it before we pave, you just need to run power to them.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and just put a regular light on them, because you're gonna end up, you're gonna replace these things constantly if you do it if you wanna have them running.
I had no idea that was.
And then we could use LED light bulbs.
Yeah, I mean, it would,
Efficient,
correct.
The
okay.
one in front of Forest Tavern down on the corner where the driveway is, that works.
Are you talking about the carriage lights that are on the white poles?
Yeah, yeah.
I'll bet you that's just a timer issue then.
I don't know how you control them or what happens with them.
If they're solar,
Well,
there's
the ones
no,
at the tavern are wired, those are electric.
Yeah.
If the ones that you're placing, then they'd be totally separate, but I'll figure that.
Okay,
Take a look at it.
great.
and if we do anything, it needs to, if we do power, let's do it before the pavement goes in, cause you can do a direct shot.
We shall not cut any pavement. Thou shall not dig up fresh pavement.
We like to cut up new pavement in Blackstone.
I don't like that.
How did the volunteers work during the holidays on the weekend? We had
We had people there, for 3 weekends.
Mhm.
I don't think anybody came.
Have you gotten to keep that?
I have not. I can get some sleep.
I'm gonna make a note for that.
I'm not aware that anybody came, but
Okay.
we did have volunteers, the high school kids.
Is there any more movement about getting paid volunteers, part-time volunteers for that positions?
I'm not in favor, but if that's something y'all wanna do, I will certainly find a way to pay somebody.
I just feel like there's, until you have and it's hard to get a track record of it actually being
We've had a
visited.
paid person before, and I don't think it generated more traffic.
Okay.
But,
I'm thinking of, is that gonna be, we had to, staffing was the one issue that was part of the grant, right? Wasn't,
that there'll be trained people, not paid trained people, but there'll
Okay.
be people trained and do all that
Okay.
sort of thing, and,
I do think we should,
but yes, they're supposed to be knowledgeable people, but VDOT didn't intervene. We're not gonna make you hire anybody, we're not gonna do that. The physical improvements that were in the grant application, the parking lot, and the blacksmith shop,
Yeah.
and the handicap access to make sure, he said, the parking lot needs to be done, and I'm asking if you'll do the blacksmith shop, but as far as staffing and stuff, VDOT indicated they were gonna stay out of that.
If I could add, staffing them, I think on the weekends is important, but staffing for staffing's sake is pretty irrelevant if the town doesn't invest in like advertising campaigns outside of the area and the region to promote people to actually come. Like having the people there from Kinston on the weekends was nice, but who's coming locally to do it, to see it? Probably not that many people.
I guess the intention was at Christmas time, when people were downtown, maybe they would come
good
over
point,
there.
okay. So maybe we should see how the tourism development program comes along, that maybe we can add that later on then.
That's all.
that and like we had discussed before, having the video sets or whatever,
Mm.
or the buttons that you could
I
click.
think that
and-
may be the best solution, to do the video stuff.
Self-tours.
You still have to have somebody obviously to
Open
be
and
at the
close.
door and open and close it, because you just don't want to have the free-for-all going in, but I think,
Does this stay in this committee, or does that need to go to employment?
Ultimately, it's gonna have to go to finance, I guess, to.
Finance.
no, I mean, I think we're in a waiting game as to what the tourism plan is before we do anything.
Okay,
Because like Zach said, there's no need in saying, oh, we'll hire a part-time person
Just to sit up there and,
if there's
Play solitaire.
no ultimate game plan for it.
okay.
and I think that's correct. Just having somebody to sit up there for the devil of it, to say we're checking a box.
Like, I feel bad that Kinston was there, and I almost feel like, will they even volunteer to do such in the future because they didn't get anything?
Well, I think, it's up to the students. Oh, it was easy, so we didn't have to do anything, and we just had to sit there. You may get takers, but at the most,
And they're also getting community hours that they need to
They-
have.
I would hope that I'd wanna do something that wasn't boring. Unless I had something else I wanted to do while I was over there, but, alright,
All
What's
right,
the parking lot, when are we,
I'll bid it out. I can bid it out
Spring.
anytime. Pardon?
that'll be a spring project?
Spring, early summer, yeah. Because if I get it on the street now, you're probably gonna vote on the bids in March, and then get 30 days to get mobilized, so
Can it not be done with other paving that's gonna be taking place?
we can. But there's base work. This isn't just asphalt work. I can get, Colony will bid on it, I'm sure. Dixie Paving will bid on these smaller companies, but Colony, who has our annual paving contract, will bid on it. But it's not just asphalt. We gotta go in there and excavate and put base stone in and all that kind of stuff. Otherwise, the pavement will just break up. We gotta put a good base on it. Would I do it separate? I think because it has a separate component to it. Yeah, I'd probably bid it out separate.
Okay.
And the worst thing you can do is get one contractor to do the base and the other contractor to do the asphalt.
And
And when it
then,
goes south,
and if it fails, who do you go to?
that's the base, no, it's the asphalt, it's the base, it's the asphalt.
So get them to do both?
Huh?
We get the company to do both,
One company that should do both, yeah.
okay, okay. Next on the item is the school buildings.
Ah, the fun part. Find our agreement in here. There is a signed agreement. Now, I haven't executed, and I told Charlotte this morning that I could not execute, but this is an agreement that was sent to me by the schools previously. I told them that I was good with it, except for, and I wanted, you know, obviously you guys are gonna look at it, but I didn't wanna get you guys deliberating on something until they had approved what they were agreeable to. Otherwise, we were gonna end up back and forth and back and forth. This is what they've agreed to. The only issue, and it almost reads verbatim from that letter I sent them, if you remember. Okay? The one question that I had is number 5 on the second page. And I think that's almost unnecessary now. Because we've already done the asbestos abatement on, or asbestos sampling in the building. They were down there working on it today. And it says they can access the buildings after. But I called the school system and they brought me the key and I met the maintenance guy. He let me in, and Dr. Grimes sent the guy. So we've already done, I think, what we need to do inside. So whether that needs to stay in or come out, it's kind of a moot point. We've already done, at their permission. I mean, they gave us the key to get in there. Still got the key. But everything else I think makes sense. That was the one thing, and I don't think that's a divisive issue because it's already done. Our consultants have already entered the process.
I'm not ready to sign any of it because we have no clue price-wise yet.
Well, I'm ready to present if you'd like.
You got tear down as well,
Yeah. As long as the county will waive the tipping fees.
which it shows on item 2, waive any landfill tipping fees.
I think it's support the town of Blackstone in its
Oh,
request.
in its request, gotcha.
And Ronnie Rourke is, I haven't seen anything in writing, and I said, I talked to him today, I said, what are y'all doing on it? "Oh, it won't be this month, and you haven't sent me a letter." Goodness gracious, so we're gonna send Ronnie a letter asking him to please let us know what they've decided on the tipping, and I don't have great hope that the county will ever support any effort the town is making to clean stuff up. I would say they'll say no. My expectation is that they'll say no, but I could be surprised. All right.
I think there needs to be some education to the community because of the concern by a lot of people expressed about tearing the buildings down.
Why are they concerned? I don't understand.
They want them to be repurposed, the people I've been talking to.
Oh,
We've
trust
got a
me.
plan. We presented a plan and the school system turned it down.
Yeah.
We were gonna take that
So
two-story
if
building
the
and,
public doesn't care for it, then they need to go to the school board and complain. Is that the
well, they can
path?
complain to us, but we presented to the school board a beautiful plan whereby a developer was gonna take the two-story building and put apartments in it, and he was gonna renovate the one-story building for the town
For the town?
with a roof and I don't think it'd been totally finished, but the school system didn't want that.
They were all concerned about why should kids be getting on and off school buses next to apartments. But kids get on and off school buses near residents everywhere. I mean,
It was a great idea. Eric was the one that worked it out
Yeah,
with the developer.
I like
It was
that.
I was
perfect.
with the people that own the Walmart shopping center.
That's what shouldn't happen. But the school system voted no, we're not prepared to do that. Now, there's the old school board, now we got a
Yeah.
radical change.
Mm-hmm.
But
I
if
can
we
tell you,
wait on
it's
the
gonna-
county or the school to manage these buildings, it will take forever. All they have to
But-
do is just say, we got the money, we don't have the money.
I mean, I know that it's blight over there, and I hate seeing it, being especially now that the road's gonna be done over there and curb and gutter, so it's starting to look a lot
showplace
better.
over there.
But why should we bail out Nottaway County,
Because
i.e. the school board or
we don't
county
have a
itself?
relationship that works together. It's,
Well, then that's
the
when the
schools have been
citizens.
very gracious so far.
That, correct, they have been.
And
But,
they're
but we're
held
also
by the county.
offering, I mean, it's gonna be, the paper said $100,000. I'm estimating it's gonna be $150,000, $200,000 to get rid of this place.
No, it's not true. Why are we bailing them out? Because schools don't have the money to tear it down. The county won't give them the money to tear it down. So if we want to clean stuff up, we gotta do everything in our town. And it's a shame it's that way, but that's the way it is. I can't tell you why it is, but it is.
So what was the quote that you got?
See the quote on the asbestos, between $30,000 and $50,000
For asbestos
for
abatement.
both buildings.
And then
And that's not a quote, that's a verbal, that's what I
Right,
think, that's why I
which
give you a range, 30 to 50.
gives you a pretty good idea. Always figure on the high side, so say $50,000.
Then you're 150, because it's gonna take 100 to knock both buildings down,
Yeah.
according to the contractor that I talked to.
I mean, that's
I think you budget 150.
yeah.
We'd love to repurpose it.
Oh, I'm all for it, but that's when the citizens themselves have to get, not on us, but on the county officials themselves, not us, because we're the ones that are actively trying to do something.
But there was a written proposal, you give me that building, the footprint, the deeded footprint. I don't think they were crazy about letting that go either, but I think their biggest concern at the time was, we just don't want residents
Yeah.
and stuff over here. Did it make sense? I don't.
Yeah.
Will the trees be part of the demolition?
Do what?
Will the trees be demolition, where they can treat those big trees in the front of that are on oak?
No,
No, they can
but I can
stay
tell you, we're demoing them every year pretty fast, because they're all
because they're
diseased.
dying.
The only trees that would be demoed over there would be if a football field were ever conceived in that location we talked about where the one-story building is, and if we would close a section of street to try to run it in there, there's some big oak trees in there that would, we cut one down, if you notice, there's one stump,
Yeah.
but the other ones look pretty vigorous, they don't look
Okay,
dying or dead, but those would have to go if we did a football field over there. If the
Ah.
football field goes on the Oak Street side, there's a bunch of stumps and maybe a tree or two, but it's mostly, they've already died over there.
I'm just uncomfortable saying we could spend up to $150,000. Plus, that doesn't include what we would construct, that in this agreement, we would have to, if we sign, it says we will develop a lighted multi-purpose field.
It's a commitment.
We're not at that stage because we can't even get over the Army right now.
yeah, I
And
think,
personally, I'm all right, and I will tell you, we can't afford any of it, so how can we afford this? And I know, yes, we're getting rid of Blake,
I
but,
don't think you can afford not to.
but we need, well, that's why I think it needs to be private. The citizens of Blackstone,
That's 100% the best idea.
oh, I know it
But the
is.
schools own the deed to it, and we've already approached them, and they said no. That was our first try. Let's repurpose them, let's let this guy, we were gonna get it done for free, basically.
Yeah.
It wasn't gonna cost us anything. Yep. I don't have a better solution for you. I'm trying to move forward.
yeah.
Well, let's,
Now, we can also do this. We can get the building official to come over here and condemn them.
we've tried that though.
Mr. Rourke won't send a building official.
We've tried it, which
He said, we're not gonna
I
condemn
think our
you."
biggest thing is right now, with as heated as it is on all fronts when it comes to old buildings in Blackstone, we need to educate the people. Give them this, say this is what it would require of Blackstone.
Well, it takes a council vote. You can't.
No,
you
no,
can't
no,
sign it.
no, most definitely, but say, all right, this is what it's gonna cost for us to just demo it,
I think 150 is your budget.
and then this is what it's gonna cost to fulfill this agreement. We also have to do water sewer taps, we also have to do the lighted field. It's a big expense. And that's when I think the citizens will say, you know what, well, whose problem is this? And they're gonna say it's the county's. And I would hope, maybe they could put, I know it's not gonna,
County ain't gonna do that. If you're holding out hope that the county's gonna tear these buildings down, you're.
no, I don't want the buildings torn down. I mean, there's a lot
You gotta
of,
tear this one building down. The standalone one is
the
gone.
standalone one.
It's
Yeah,
gone.
yeah.
The
I haven't
walls
been in there
are
in
gone.
2 years,
It's gone.
but before it wasn't bad. I mean,
The
that was,
two-story building, I think, could be salvaged. It's structurally pretty good, but
that's just a cinder block building.
it's just a
But
bunch
then
of.
we're spending $150,000 on this, why aren't we putting $150,000 into the armory?
And I can tell you, in this coming budget, we're gonna be fighting for money because that police department right across the street,
Mhm.
we've got, the county put us in a predicament over there with having to fund officers when they just gave $500 per pay period extra,
I
so.
think you're missing the boat if you don't support tearing these buildings down. I think it's a mistake.
Okay.
That's my best professional
I know.
advice, and I really think that we, if
And
we
I
have
agree
an
that-
opportunity to do something, we need to do it.
I'm just,
But
I
the
think
issue
the
is
citizens
where
are
do you
coming.
get the money when we're already saying we don't have the money to do another project?
To renovate another project, you're right. We don't have $1 million.
What
$2
is,
million,
what would you
$2.5
say
million.
cost of, just rough idea, the sewer taps that they're thinking,
Well, we do them ourselves, but you're gonna have $10,000 in that,
so that's 10.
in materials, at least.
Okay.
What would you say a lighted multi-purpose field would be? I have no idea.
It's gonna be high.
cause there's a lot of dirt moving there, cause it's not
But isn't that
level.
what we had all agreed we were gonna do?
Correct.
Is it Soccer, football field? I don't know about the lighting, that was kind of
Yeah.
added at the last minute, but weren't we gonna do a field?
That's the game plan, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that was.
But
part of
ultimately,
original-
the actual, original plan shows that it's down on Oak Street,
On Oak Street.
to where we don't even have to deal with the buildings.
You gotta deal with the buildings, man.
Oh, they're
Don't do
atrocious
anything else until the buildings are down, that is.
What do
just
you
a
think that
mess.
what do you think that field would cost?
That's gonna be expensive, 'cause you're gonna have to raise the grade quite a bit.
You
Cause
think?
it's wet, terrible wet right there in the corner.
100,000?
We graded all of Wigglesworth for 65, if that tells you something. So less than 65 over time.
But that's not with the lights.
Lights were about 60, everywhere.
So you say $100,000
With the lighting and the
with
grading.
lights and
I
grading,
think you're
because the
probably
field
close.
space is smaller than what
Yeah,
the four.
and bleachers and a bathroom and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I think you're looking at 100 grand.
Who owns the land? The county would still own the land?
County school system owns that land.
Yeah, we have a 99-year lease, which is
It's
less
a
than
lease,
With
that's
the
how they,
schools.
okay, okay.
Right. And we gotta run new construction by them. Anything we do, new construction.
And
they've gotta-
another part of educating the people, like Christine said, was the fact that I know on Facebook, people have been dogging saying the town has let those buildings go down. In our lease agreement, it was not the town's responsibility to
It's an absolute myth,
correct.
on camera and on tape, that the town's supposed to fix those buildings up. We put the boards in the windows, and our agreement
Security.
says routine maintenance, which is cutting grass, raking leaves. I have a letter in the file from the county school system that says, no, the roofing is not part of our understanding of the
Good,
agreement.
good.
That's in writing in file, and the end result is, the county's hung their hat on, well, the town needs to put those roofs on. No, that's a myth, that's not true.
Okay.
So we're at $260,000 is what our whole
I think that's.
total project would be.
Yeah, I
Now,
think-
that doesn't, would we be doing any of the demo, or is that the company doing
We
everything?
can do that small building, I can't do the big building. But no, that 150 is all
That's all,
contracted.
okay.
Yeah, can we cut it back a little bit? I can do the small building, I think our guys can do that. We're pretty good there, quite frankly. But when we do it, it means everybody's hauling
Yeah.
loads of mess to the landfill for 2 weeks.
I think,
That's all we're doing.
I know we want to do something over there, but I think we need to let it mull over. Get everything in writing, what your figures are, so we can have it all on one piece of paper. What's your price, rough idea for the demolition asbestos?
150.
What a rough idea for field is, just so everybody can have it in front of them and say, all right, this is what it's gonna be. So we're not get into a project and then everybody go, hold on, we didn't know such and such was gonna cost us. So get it all on one piece of paper and just put it in our packet and
We can present, this is what we,
we can present it. I doubt it will get traction, to be honest, but
You done what?
doubt it will get traction with the volatility right now of just,
Maybe if I get traction.
of us actually being able to tear them down at this moment. Now, I'm thinking, we need to solve Armory. The Armory must be solved.
I disagree, but I understand your opinion, and this is much more pressing than the armory.
Oh, I agree.
The armory's
But-
not.
But the pressing
You got a
issue,
plan ahead of you. You may have to wait till next November to have this.
the pressing issue is the fact of money, in my opinion. Now, a lot of people don't look at it the money aspect. They say, oh, well, you got 3-point-some million in the bank. No, I look at it as money.
No, that's not. You got a budget. You don't take it out
Correct.
of reserve fund for
I
something like that.
agree 100%.
Yeah, it's gotta be budgeted.
And like I said,
Yeah,
my
if we
main
didn't do-
concern is this coming budget season is gonna be a tough one with these rate increases that we're going to have to, with our study, compensation period study.
You're gonna have to do something.
We're gonna have to do something, and it's gonna be fairly substantial, I think. I think you're gonna-
6 figures.
You're gonna see a large
Yeah,
increase in the budget for the police department.
for the whole
So,
town,
yeah, so,
including the police department.
yeah. I don't know, it would have to, like you said, we would have to go through the budget process to do this, most
Oh,
definitely.
that's what I told council before. We couldn't do any of this stuff until next
So,
year.
in other words, we don't need to be signing this right now.
No, I don't say that.
Okay. Do not
Because I
sign
think you're
that.
missing the boat, but
yeah,
nonetheless, I respect, I mean, I get it, and I understand. Why wouldn't you put the money in the armory? $150,000, in my opinion, is not gonna renovate the armory to a point
No,
that it's ready to rent out or do all that. You may get a new roof,
you
that may cover the
correct.
cost of the roof and do some things, but you gotta make a long-term commitment with them. This is a one-year time. Boom, and it's done. That is $100,000+
I
a
agree.
year for the next 20 years. You gotta make a commitment.
It's continuing.
It's continuous. Yeah.
I would love to see those buildings repurposed, but like you said, I know it's not gonna happen.
It'll never happen.
Never,
Never happen.
never
And
at
the
all.
county will never put the money up and tear them down.
Is there a way that a benefactor would be able, a group to come in and to do something with that?
That's what we had. We had a private guy.
Did you?
Oh,
Okay.
I mean, he had agreed that Yvonne would go into the cafeteria building and operate out of there. We'd tear her building down.
Yeah.
That would be the only building that was gonna actually get torn down.
And the school said no. Old school board, not the current. school
Correct.
board.
Okay.
So get those, put it on paper, just to,
I'll have it for you at
Preliminary
your next
cost.
council meeting. I'll do that.
yeah,
Okay.
and just put it in there with this agreement.
Just be
It's
a
too
check.
big for us to
Yeah, I think it
to do
is.
it.
Yeah.
Why is people so negative about it? I just don't get it.
I think if you.
How can that possibly
I can
be?
add, If you wanna ease community tensions, a part of from everything I saw on Facebook about it, is that people believe that these two buildings being torn down paves the way for the new sign,
They
for
s-
the new community.
They said that'll be where the pool goes, which and
That has
That's
nothing
all
to do
that
with
I
any of
see.
this. That's
Yeah,
all a
it
lie.
is.
That's Facebook.
there's been a few people that have
That's all-
said,
yeah.
we do not need to tear that history down over there. There's been a few that have said that. But, no, most of it has been, oh, well, this is our underhanded way to go over there and build a pool and,
Facebook is
Oh, I
not
know.
actual factual information.
we
that's
talked about it before, they get 5% of the information and then it all just creates. So,
I don't want to clean up this mess that's over there.
no, it needs to be.
We're investing
Oh, that,
$700,000 in the
that
streets.
curb and gutter and sidewalk and stuff is gonna look great over there.
But those buildings are just gonna be a mess.
It will be.
And if a child gets in there and gets hurt,
I can tell you, nobody should be going in that building. The asbestos
Oh.
level is through the roof.
Can you imagine, the
In
state
the
police
building.
used to train in that
Huh?
thing? The state police used to train in that
The
thing.
fire department called me today about using it for training. I was like, Mike, you better think through this thing.
Can we train it to burn it, maybe? There's nothing to burn, because it's all,
Yeah, just all, yeah, he was thinking about using it as a smokehouse or something.
no, you don't wanna go in that thing.
Don't go in that one-story building, the whole interior wall is collapsing.
It's a shame, because that one-story building,
Mhm.
that could bury,
We were talking about putting a library in there.
yes, we were. That was where the
Yeah.
library
it's
was.
it's beyond repair.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
gone now, yeah. It's just gonna be a buzzer bruise too before
It's a
long.
shame.
And how can the schools in the county, how can we enforce on these poor folks who don't have a dime, and they've got rotten properties, I deal with them all the time, on North Main Street, the Williams sisters, and they gotta pay to clean up their mess.
Double standards.
It's a double standard, I get it, but the county won't do anything.
Well, at some
Are you
point,
prepared to take the county to court? To
If
file
it
suit
comes
against
down
the
to
county to
it.
remove them?
I mean, what's your other options? I mean,
Tear 'em down.
it's their buildings.
They won't do it though,
Well,
unless you
you
take them
answered
to
the
court
question
and
right
judge
there
tells them to tear 'em
then.
down.
Then we would have to go to court and do it.
You'd rather go to court with it than tear them down?
I mean, we can't be
It'll
the,
never happen, in
we
reality.
can't be the scapegoat for
Are you guys
everybody.
really gonna sue the county? No.
Is it
that's not
legitimate?
gonna happen.
Is it a legitimate reason?
Yeah, it's legitimate, I'm just
Well,
saying, we deal with people on Broad Street and everywhere.
It's a shame that we have to even be having this conversation.
I know. 8 years after we started that.
Correct.
Been 8 years,
Oh,
Been more than that.
easily,
I've
yeah.
been here 8.5 years.
not as
9
long as the
years.
armory.
I've been on the council for 10 years this year, so it's, we started talking about those fields right then, that whole area. So,
Should it
I
be
think Cindy
Republican?
Taylor
Absolutely.
Longest said that her son Drake, had the agreement signed in 2010
For what?
for the lease over there, for that,
2007.
2007. And, so it's been talked about for a while.
And a 99-year lease.
Mhm.
Okay.
I'll bring it to council and give
Okay.
you a house estimate.
Yeah.
and I'll write
Thank
it
you.
up.
Thank you, Phil. Appreciate that.
Sorry if I'm pushing you, but I'm passionate.
No, it needs, something must be done, yes.
Yes. Community organization signs. That's our next
Ah.
thing.
If you knows, Eric brought to me about a year ago, can we replace all the community signs? There's a lattice board
Yes.
When you enter the
out on
town,
Church Street,
yeah.
and they're faded and they're old. Well, we have all new signs now. We got all the new signs, but I've been waiting a year with our sign folks to build the frame. He came to me and the price was too expensive, finally. So I finally got all the signs gathered up, carried them to the shop, we're gonna build our own, okay? And the question I have for you tonight, and yes, it needs to come down, yes, I need to, but Rotary were to give me new signs, we paid for one for the VFW or the Vietnam vet, I think, and, that was up there. And we'll leave room that we could add to it if we needed
Yeah.
to. The rec association we got in there.
There's probably a bunch on there that are defunct.
Yeah,
and-
Moose Club, Moose Lodge, or whatever we call it. We got one for the Eagles, that's in there, so, I wanna move it. I wanna move it onto North Main Street, on the same piece of ground where the, welcome sign is with the planter, not the new welcome sign,
Yeah,
but back on the other one,
right across from Sheila's driveway, pretty much.
approximately. I'd like to move it over there,
The one near LD's old building?
closer to that, yeah.
Okay.
Mhm. No, that's the
Closer.
new one.
Oh, okay.
No, this is the older one that's back towards.
Near the it's two billboards, right there
Okay,
behind the
okay,
Welcome
okay,
to Blackstone.
I'd like-
Okay.
There's a DBI sign there now, and I'd like to put this next to the, or approximately next to that DBI sign, without blocking it, of course.
No, put it right in front of it.
And because it gets more, it'll get more traction there.
I think you see it, more people see it, Maynard, more,
It's more traffic entryway.
There used to be one at all entry points. I remember there was one at the old dump, or the county dump on 46, and they just got so dilapidated that
well, this one's pretty bad, and we're gonna go and take it down.
That's
Probably
fine.
next
Needs to
week
be
or so,
done.
we'll just take it down, and I can give the clubs the signs back, but I've got new signs, and there's fewer signs. I don't think we have garden club sign, and we did VFW, rec, Rotary Rurtons, Vietnam veterans.
Yeah, the
Eagles.
information on the Rotary is incorrect, because we no longer meet at Mitchell's.
yeah,
Oh, this doesn't have a date and time, this is just the.
the emblem itself.
The
The
emblem.
Okay.
And Ruriton's much smaller, they provide their sign. I like to put it on North Main for higher traffic, if that
That's fine.
causes any stomach pain.
Make a motion that do we need a motion on that?
Go
No?
ahead.
Go ahead.
Make a motion that we go ahead with replacing the sign on North Main Street.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. So we'll present that to council.
I'm not sure what the historic landmark signs are.
Y'all had the one, and then y'all talked about maybe buying more and putting them throughout town, so Mr. Whitlow got price
Well,
estimates for it.
We had that one that we installed in front of Schwartz Tavern, and I had contacted the Virginia Department of Historic
we're talking about the silver aluminum one.
And that dates back to like the nineties or something. And they said they're not trademarked, so we could like redesign it or, whatever we wanna do. And I had gone to Watkins really and kinda taken them the original, or showed them the original sign to get it like mimicked on a new 8x10, I think it is aluminum, 160 per sign, great quality. And I think that we really had just talked about creating two signs, one for the town square and one for Sea Park ideally. It's really as simple as that.
Yeah,
Because
you
you
don't,
can't order them through the state because they don't reproduce them like that.
How much is the sign?
160 apiece.
160 per.
Oh, you can't afford it.
Oh.
You get the money for that. Gotta wait for next budget, huh?
Do we need to vote on that? Gonna make a motion?
I move that we purchase two of them and put one up in Sea Park and one at Town Square.
Do you want DBI to like facilitate the process of like getting them?
Yes, sir, have at it.
Are we replacing the one that's tavern?
No.
Keep that.
We're good, okay.
Just replicating it and putting another one in.
Tommy made that one right there for Veteran Station.
Yep.
Okay, I second, and the vote is yes, okay.
Aye.
And so we take that
Would you
to,
like us to consult with you on where to put them?
Yeah, I mean. in
Beautification
terms of
committee
town
and DBI.
square, We don't know exactly where, we want it to be visible in the town square, but where that is.
And then make sure you confer with Sea Park Committee.
He's on that committee too.
Oh, that's Jennifer Davis.
as you are,
Yes,
as you are too.
I am, but Mr. Whitlow is as well.
I tell you what I like the best, whether it's feasible cost-wise, mounted on like a piece of stone. Let it sit on the ground.
Ideally would love to see it mounted.
It's a little more
on pillar
expensive.
There, but
Because you put it on a piece of wood, and paint it, and it look bad.
Yeah.
Put it on a pillar.
we would wanna put it
On one of the
ideally on
columns.
the front pillar in the town
Well,
square.
that's
and the
easier,
different-
that's even cheaper.
Yeah.
Well, if you're gonna do that, why don't you get them to match the plaques you put up on the, all over
Those are
town?
really pricey.
Are they crazy?
Yeah, I didn't look at
Expensive?
the price, but they're
Never mind.
expensive.
All good. You want to put mount yours on the column? That makes
We
sense.
would want to, but I think that, they had said that they don't know if that's feasible with this type or not.
I
We
think-
wanna
We can figure it out.
I think it
There's
can
a
be
way to
done.
do it. Jason,
Capcons and I think.
I don't think we'll grind out
No,
and recess it, but I think you can mount it
Yeah.
on those blocks.
I'll
Outstanding.
All right.
Good deal.
Last on the agenda, and I have a couple more things I wanted to add, but the next thing is Sea Park and holiday cleanup. I think you all met, the Sea Park committee, when it was,
We did. Start Behavioral has already cleaned up their 2 buildings.
okay,
Kristen Johnson had a house, and I was in there, I believe, last week, and that had not been cleaned up yet. And then the gifted program had decorated a house, and I spoke to the lady that was in charge of them, and she was hoping to get in there, maybe, she said maybe tomorrow, but I haven't heard from her, so I'm assuming now it's gonna be next week, and then her and her kids will get in there and clean that out. And Mr. Wallace Akers and Mr. Bill that work, for the town, and myself, we met and we cleaned out the brick storage building in there. They did the majority of the cleanup, and we decided what to throw away and what.
We could fit a Mack truck in there, Nance, so clean.
Yes,
There's a
wow.
lot of storage in that building.
it was just so much stuff in there that wasn't being used anymore, and we figured once everything was decorated in the park, that stuff that was left in there wasn't being used, so let's get rid of it
And
and
no
make room
value
for
to
the.
it, it's probably pretty old.
Yeah.
I would, can we add to the surplus list that timber in there before it gets completely rotten?
We're gonna,
Timber.
we're gonna do the shingles, and the shingles are outside, and we're gonna, yeah, so we're.
There's some
we're
old
gonna-
hand-hewed, wooden beams and stuff in there that,
In that shed?
yeah, that are worth nice money.
Oh, yeah, we'll surplus,
Instead
we're gonna
of a-
surplus the slate shingle too.
Mhm.
Okay.
But no, they did a great job cleaning up in there.
Rotary's planning on going on the 25th to do that building.
So that's still, okay.
How about the Santa house? There's still gingerbread man out in front of it.
Jenny said she had contacted, Miss Early, who, I think.
Is that her stuff on the outside of the building too?
No, that's ours. That's the town's, that's what.
I need
Yeah, the guys are gonna
Jason,
clean
someone
that.
needs to get.
Jason already talked about it today.
Yeah, they're gonna clean
There's
that
two
stuff.
deer laying out there that were blown
Yeah,
over.
that's what- Jenny bought with the town's money, budget money too. So that's what's gonna go in the shed.
We need to.
But I think our guys didn't realize that. They thought they were somebody else's, so they're gonna put that in the shed.
Okay.
And I think as far as a plan for Sea Park, I would like to do a continuation of this meeting to discuss Sea Park, so Jenny can be here. And they need a couple of weeks so they can plan around the schedule. I know typically we don't do late meetings. What's the latest we do a committee meeting? 6:30?
Do it, son.
We can do 7?
You can do it really anytime you want.
I'd prefer not 7, but it depends on how long it's gonna last.
Well, now, Jenny usually says Fridays are better days for her. She doesn't usually have clients those days, so maybe we could talk to her and
Okay,
schedule
find out
it.
what the
Meet
best
at
with
4 or
schedule.
5 if she's available.
Yeah, so we can at least
On a
come in
Friday?
briefly and talk about
Okay,
this.
2 or 3.
She
Yeah,
wants,
we can do an afternoon meeting on a Friday for her.
okay. Can we plan one for a couple of weeks from now, Ben? Let's try that and continue that.
I'm available anytime this year.
Okay.
This time.
Yeah, this is a good time of year for you, yeah.
So,
Because I also wanted to bring up public restrooms. How was the fence was put up today? Thank you very much. And the people I've been talking to will be very happy about that.
Are you still concerned about a public restroom?
I think-
24 hours a day being open?
No, I think we need to have maybe limits on the time it's open. But I'm gonna see I wanted to see if maybe Sheila's committee, Health and Ordinance, would be a better solution to discuss
Yeah.
that, but.
I just
we-
caution you that they're gonna be nasty. I know what a public bathroom at the park can turn into. Yeah, they can just be a mess. We're just gonna have to assign
Well-
somebody to clean them.
Are there merchants in town that don't mind their restrooms being used as a public restroom?
There's a bathroom in the library that's open to the public.
It's not always open.
When the library's open, the bathrooms are open, but otherwise, no, they're not.
So we have tourists that come into town. If we're gonna have a tourism developed, we might wanna need to include that in the plan.
If I may inject that,
Opened or closed meeting? I'm sorry.
Open.
you can go around the front.
are there any other localities that have anything like this so that we
Oh,
could
sure. I mean,
base
there's-
off of?
Public bathrooms are common, right? You're just gonna have to
When that's-
staff them, and if someone's
when
gonna,
common, I mean, what do they look like? Who has them? Does Crew, Burkeville, Farmville, do any of them have?
Maybe Farmville, I don't think.
Farmville on the Trail has one, it's the SST, it's a sweet smelling toilet.
Hmm.
It's a compostable, and there's no running water to it.
That would be real but nice.
Yeah, it's pretty self-contained, but, you know, it's still gonna need to be cleaned.
Correct.
But, you know, that may be an option for us. Portland, Oregon has a huge homeless population, and they have a problem with public restrooms because of that. Illicit bad behaviors happening in those facilities and stuff, so they've come up with a design, but they're $65,000 each.
How much? $55,000?
65. But they're solving the problem, but they have a lot more people that they serve, so.
We had talked about this before because at Old Wrigglesworth, there was a prefabbed concrete pea gravel type building that was over there, and it had a men's and a women's bathroom. And when we tore down the old building, the old stadium over there, we were going to repurpose that, but the topic came up as, all right, how in the world would you ever keep it clean, do this and do that? So it's actually out of the training grounds now, and
The problem with it is in the wintertime, we're gonna have to keep electricity to it to
Winterize.
keep it, otherwise we've got to either winterize it or we've got to keep it heated so that the water doesn't freeze in there. That's kind of the problem with it. I think most of it's done. We've moved it over there, and I think they've made some connections to the water and sewer. But is it easier just to use porta johns? I know they're not aesthetically as pleasing, but
Maybe we
No?
do the porta johns over at Wrigglesworth or by the tennis courts, or the basketball courts, and then.
well, they got turned over. That's why we got rid of it, because we kept standing it up,
Kept
and they would tip
tipping
it over and tip it over and tip it over.
It's okay, never mind.
you're talking about a mess. I bet that's a mess.
Yeah, especially if somebody's in it.
all the time. That's why
Yeah,
we
yeah.
don't have it over here.
Okay, well, that's just, I'm not gonna go any further with that, but just planting the seed, I do want that. And then the future development completion, that would be with, Sea Park, and then homeless citizens. I'm not sure if we have a population problem right now. Right now, I think, okay, okay.
Everybody that I know of that could be labeled that has a home. I think it's whether they choose to stay in it or not.
Okay.
It's different.
All right,
We're not aware. The police department had made contact with one gentleman who's been a reasonable amount of time around town. He has a place to stay. I think it's just perhaps he chooses a different lifestyle.
okay. Next up, the other thing, the Armory, I've had a request to allow some groups to start using the Armory. And that needs to come to the full council, I'm sure, because we did make a decision to hold all activity. But also, Mayor Billy has received requests to have activity. And there's a request from Walter Mack that there was people contacting him for light use. Now that the air quality is okay,
The air quality test that they conduct
yeah,
is strictly a test on mold.
okay.
That's not asbestos test, that's not any of that kind of stuff. That was just a mold test. If you read the results, it didn't have anything to do with any of those hazardous materials. It was strictly for mold, if you read it.
Okay, what about the one that Walter Mack had somebody come in? Is that the one you're talking about? Okay, all right.
So saying that the air quality is perfect over there, nobody knows that. I do think he's right that some of that can be encapsulated. I think that makes some sense. But I don't think you can say that that test resolved any and all concerns about the air quality. Because if you look what it was for molds and spores and those kind of things. And, it didn't have anything to do with the lead-based paint or the asbestos. Did you ever read the report?
Okay, I'll go
I could be
back.
wrong, I'm not an expert, but I didn't see anywhere specific where that report did any of that testing.
Well, I'm thinking it needs to go to the full council anyway.
Correct, yeah.
Guess-
I got 2 calls this morning concerns with the post that was already made on Facebook saying that it was available starting April 1 when it hasn't been, I mean, effectively the council says no use.
I mean, y'all don't vote on it every time somebody comes.
It's gonna be,
What's the policy? We close? We open? But every time somebody requests it, does council have to get beat up every time? You guys are the ones getting knocked around, it ain't staff. You guys have to bring it up every time. And yeah, I guess it needs to go to council because it's a sensitive issue. But I hate seeing y'all get thumped every month over stuff you guys just.
And it's not just in here, it's on
Huh?
the book face too.
The what?
It's on the Facebook too, that's where you get
That's,
Facebook doesn't mean a thing.
more of a bump.
Yeah.
well,
It's pleasant.
No, it's not.
No,
It's a
it's not at all.
disaster.
it's pretty vicious.
It's nasty.
What have I called it from day one? The devil?
Facebook is awful. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
awful.
yeah.
And
Okay, and then Veterans Day and Memorial Day events. Do we want to get started on Memorial Day? That's in May, the end of May, and then we also need to start planning or considering, deciding when we want to start on the Veterans Day, if the council or the town wants to do that.
I think Billy's pretty hot on doing something better than that for sure.
And Memorial Day, we did something too, didn't we?
I can't remember.
I think they do something maybe in the cemetery.
Okay.
That's
They
right,
do
yeah.
something.
It's in the cemetery, it's at
Yeah, I
the
think that's-
monuments.
Yeah, I
Monuments.
think they do, yeah, John Hill's outfit. I
Yeah,
think.
John Hill and them typically do that.
Okay, so, who heads that up at the town, in the town level for activities?
Really, the Memorial Day is handled by is it VFW that John does?
I believe so.
Okay.
John Hill kind of handles that. We get some chairs for him. We may do whatever little stuff. And the Veterans Day has been us. The past 2 years that we've had it, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty decent turnout. And we do it over there.
Well, this past Veterans Day was kind of a last minute.
Yeah, everything was thrown together and
Everything thrown
nobody
together,
knew
it's
what
like-
was going on. But the year before was when it was the 100th anniversary, I think,
And
so
that
that
was
one was
We did the
planned.
time capsule.
And it doesn't always have to be something so fancy but I believe, especially Veterans Day, the town should do it. I mean, the veterans shouldn't have to do it. I mean, we're supposed to be honoring them, so so that's why in the past 2 years we've picked it up and like I said, it doesn't need to be fancy. Set the chairs up, say we're gonna do something and.
But let's do it several months ahead of time.
Let's plan
Make
that
sure
ahead
we
of
know what we're
time,
doing so
right.
we don't scramble and.
Me and Miss Hasbrook were trying to figure out which way was up when we, this year.
Maybe we start in August?
Yes.
Let's put it on the calendar, start in August.
We'll
Okay.
be done with the budget and all that, so that'll be good.
Is there anything else to come before the this committee? Yes, sir.
And I meant to take some pictures and send to Jennifer for the committee, but I haven't had time to get to it. In the historic district, especially downtown, some of the wayfinding street signs, there's a good number of them that
Yeah.
are like this.
Yeah.
And also on the corner of Broad and Main, the traffic,
Pedestrian.
pedestrian light, that thing, I think was
Been
hit by a
hit.
big truck.
Dan knows about that.
So those are just some of those things.
Where is that?
The corner of
Right in front
Broad
of
and
the
East
corner
Broad.
kitchen.
Okay.
I mean, Main.
Something hung it like a truck or something.
It's a good winter, those are all good winter projects. I know there's some
I think Dan's ordering the parts for this.
There's some signs in front of my house that say slow children playing that have been cattywampus now for months.
I need to do sign work for, take a day and just get it.
Or,
as a
I mean, I'd love to see the slow signs, but if you have to, just put it on another sign and remove the post.
I don't know what knocked it over. Did somebody hit it?
Yeah, somebody hit the,
Somebody did hit it.
yeah.
And the directional sign down on Middlebury is,
Mhm.
I need to, we need to spend a day doing that.
It's good winter projects.
Well, we've gone till 13 after 6. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right, we are adjourned.
It is 6:12.
6:12. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.